Is your home prepared for hurricane season? Don't wait till it's too late. Trust ServPro of Tampa Bay for expert care and helpful tips. Have a plan. Fill your gas tank, stock batteries, charge your phone, and take care of the pets. Call ServPro today and weather any storm with confidence.
Time, weather, and
How you doing, everybody? I'm Chief Meteorologist Dennis Phillips. Heat, still the hot topic of weather conversation, right? Just smashed the previous record for rainfall in Tampa. It's still a very nice day. We've got some clouds out there, even a couple of sprinkles as another front rolls through the area. Most of us wake up to sunshine and then very warm temperatures in the afternoon. Temperatures, they're going up and they're staying up. Really nice forecast, especially if you're planning on going to the beach or the pool. Rain chances very slim. Another beautiful day in store. It's going to bring us a very high chance of storms. Some isolated showers across the area. Mother Nature likes to remind us that it isn't set by a calendar. We're always on it for you just in case things begin to pop.
Streaming from the ABC Action Weather Center in Studio A. This is Dennis Phillips Live Plus. Brought to you by ServPro, the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration.
How you doing, everybody? It is a Wednesday night edition of DPL Plus. DPL Dennis Phillips Live usually is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But because folks wanted it more, we added a DPL Plus on Wednesdays. A lot of times it's our news anchors, our reporters doing kind of a newsy story or something to do with maybe topics that you're interested in and that you have shared that with our reporters. And then they come on. Wendy has been on, Julie Salamone, Heather Lee, a lot of folks. But today it's weather, obviously, for obvious reasons, what's going on behind me. So thanks for stopping by. We are going to be talking a lot about PTC 19. We usually do our hellos, and I see all the folks here checking in. I do appreciate it. Usually we do our hellos and we say where you're from, but when you get thousands of people in here like we do when there's a storm, we obviously can't do that. And I get it. There's also, look, we have our share of tomfoolery and, we have some fun typically. But when there's real weather going on, and potentially there will be in about a week, we like to keep it more in terms of, what you're here for, at least some of you. And that will avoid the obligatory, hey, buddy boy, get to weather in all caps. And then I have to ban the person. And I don't want to do that, but it's one of those things where, look, if I'm in your living room, and I don't really know you very well, but I'm in your living room. I don't come and say, hey, where's the chips and salsa? I wouldn't say that. So it's kind of the same thing, right? So we ask for lightheartedness. We ask for camaraderie. We ask for conversations, but we avoid all the other stuff, right? So that's, and please, oh boy, I'm already seeing banning people. Oh no, really? Is somebody already saying that people should be banned? Okay, I'm not even going to get into that right this second. I will wait until I see something with my own two eyes, okay? All right, so let's jump in. We're going to start with an overview of what's happening. We're going to go to the models. We're going to talk about the most accurate models so far this season. And we're going to talk about why this forecast, I believe, is going to change radically over the next 3 to 4 days. But the end result will not. Saying it right here, right now, whatever's out there, whether it's a Winnie the Pooh puffy cloud, all that's like one cloud left, one of those rain clouds that Winnie the Pooh sees as a single cloud, or a hurricane, whatever it is, it's going to hit Florida next Wednesday. So throwing that out there right now, whatever is left or whatever has developed, Wednesday is the day that the west coast of Florida is going to be impacted by what would likely be Sarah. It may have weakened by then, but that's the way it plays out. Let's go ahead and just give a little overview, and we'll kind of go from there, okay? Oh, you told me you wanted me to ban Sarah. That's what it was. That went right over my head. I should have noticed that. I will be honest, today I did the Great American Teach-In in Pinellas County, and I had 7 schools. I did not go to bed last night. I literally stayed up all night updating, and people always say, hey, do you ever sleep? No, not really. I mean, I can sleep when it isn't hurricane season, but when there's a storm around, I stay up pretty much all the time. So that one went right over my head. My bad. But yeah, I went to the Great American Teach-In today in Pinellas County, had 7 schools, and I started at 8:30 in the morning and was going on until 2:30. I'm fried. I am fried. So I will do my best to keep it together. Okay? All right, here we go. So there's a look at the radar. All's quiet. Temperatures today, we did not break a record. We had 87 in Tampa, but boy, it was a nice day, wasn't it? The wind picked up out of the east. It was a really comfortable day. And we were pretty close to a record high. We had 87 in Tampa and Winter Haven, 86 Clearwater. St. Pete hit 84. Sarasota hit 86. Brooksville hit 86. So there is a look at where we are right now. Clear, 77 degrees. Winds gusting at 17 miles an hour. The dew point has dropped into the 60s. We have some beautiful weather in store through the early part of next week. We really do. I think it's going to be gorgeous. So let's talk about that. Satellite picture, all's quiet. We have a weak front coming in tomorrow. The front in itself won't bring us anything more than some clouds and maybe a sprinkle tomorrow night. But what it will do is bring us another 1 or 2 degree drop in our temperatures. I don't know why this just entered my mind, but I'm going to mention this. I'm not saying you guys ever wonder, but have you ever wondered kind of what Wendy and Paul and I were talking about into the commercial break? For whatever reason today, we were talking about the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight that's going on Friday night in Dallas on Netflix. I don't know why. It just entered. I think it's going to be entertaining. So on Friday night, I will have a DPL. It's going to run till 8 o'clock. And then I'm immediately going to turn on the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight. I have no idea who's going to win. You can actually bet on it, which shocks me because you just wonder, if there's something going on with that fight. But I think it's going to be entertaining. So that's what we were talking about. And Wendy Ryan, little Wendy, she's like, yeah, I want to watch them. I want to watch him go at it. Maybe he'll bite his ear and all this. Wendy she's a little, she's got that side to her. She likes to see him tussle a little bit. So anyway, that's what we were talking about today when in the commercial break. All right, so anyway. So yeah, Tyson's an underdog, Bridget. Mike Tyson is an underdog. It's crazy. He's like a plus 160 underdog. So Jake Paul is, Evelyn, it just came because I don't know where it came from. I was just thinking about Wendy and Paul when we were talking about that today. And we talked about it during the commercial break, and it just came to mind. Anyway, back to weather. So there's a look at what looks to be a beautiful weekend forecast. All right? Now, the next big weather change outside of what would likely be Sarah, Wendy is feisty, Anna Maria, you're right. What is going to be outside of what is Sarah is this cold front, the one next Friday. It's going to be the proverbial doozy of a front. By definition, a doozy is a drop of 15. No, it really isn't, but it is going to be a significant front. Look at the high temperatures next Friday. Now, you all know these models overcompensate at the beginning, and they'll back off probably into the lower 70s. But those are your high temperatures after this tropical nonsense moves through. We are going to have the coolest weather we have seen since April, right? Since April. So morning lows Saturday morning will be in the 40s. Oh, Nara. Nara. Okay, I'll say this one more time. One more time. Okay, I don't go into your house and say, where's the chips and salsa? All right? I wait until the chips and salsa are served for me, okay? That's what I do. Same rules apply here. I promise you I'll get to weather. But this is a show that I go on tangents. I just do. And you got to go with it. Or you don't, and you can go elsewhere. But That is what we do. This is not just a weather show. We talk about whatever y'all want to talk about and whatever happens to come to mind. But I promise you, we will get to all the weather, okay? It is like the living room. You are correct. So anyway, I'm not going to hit the button because maybe she's a newcomer. But I'm just telling you, all right, that is just not what we do here, okay? And if it's what you want, there are plenty of weather talks that just talk about weather, and they're snooze fests, in my opinion. Let's get back to weather. All right, so there is a look at the significant cold snap that's going to come in the end of next week into the weekend. All right? And there it is. So, and not only that, look at the forecast through Thanksgiving. How about that? Take a closer look at that big blue thing, as Bill Murray said in Groundhog Day. Remember in the beginning of Groundhog Day? Oh, we got this big blue thing, and it's going to bring us snow, but it's going to miss us and hit Altoona. Remember that from Groundhog Day? Well, we're not going to have any snow, but we got this big blue thing coming. That would be below average temperatures starting next Friday and continuing right into Thanksgiving. So how about that? That is a beautiful thing for most people. I get it. You know, some folks live in Florida for a reason. They like the warm weather. Okay. We are now, Nara, going to spend the next 18 minutes and 18 seconds talking about PTC 19. I promised you we would get to it. All right? So here it is. This is the latest. Now, let's go ahead and explain what this is for the folks who aren't really 100% positive. Ooh, snuggle alert on Amber. You may be right. Well, actually, no, there'd probably be a snuggle alert next Friday night. I totally forgot about snuggle alerts. How is that possible? So here's what happens, okay? National Hurricane Center, a couple of years ago, decided to start issuing advisory. Once they issue an official advisory, you get a track. And everybody wants to know the track, especially if you are in an area that the track could impact, right? But they would never be able to issue a track unless they had an officially named system. Well, they changed that. So that's why this is called a potential tropical cyclone 19. A tropical cyclone is a fancy word for an area of low pressure. That's a tropical system in nature. In other words, a brewing depression or storm or hurricane. It isn't one yet. It's expected to be one, thus the word potential. And this gives them the ability to issue a track in an area that may have landfall within 5 days. So that's why we now have these PTCs, as I call it. Sometimes I'll write PTC on Facebook and people are like, what the heck's PTC? Potential Tropical Cyclone, PTC, number 19. And this PTC is very disorganized. And this is the key to the short-term forecast. We're going to get into the sciencey part of this stuff soon, all right? But this PTC has no center of circulation. So imagine you're driving your car, okay? And you're at a specific spot, and your Google Maps or whatever you use is trying to tell you where you're going to go, right? It's going to give you a track, but it doesn't know where you are because it can't see you in that car in the center. So you're going to have a lot of different possibilities of where you're going. Well, once Google Maps can see you in the car and you're there, it makes the trip a lot easier to forecast. I just came up with that one. I don't know where it came from, but it's kind of accurate, right? So right now, Google Maps cannot see a center of circulation for this storm because there is none. There's no center. It's a blob. It's a big old red blob. So forecasting where that big red blob is going to go is extremely challenging. It isn't a matter of, oh, they're never going to get it right, or, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. No, it's just we don't have a center yet. So when you look at the updated track, and this comes out every 6 hours, just like a regular advisory does, okay? It has that L where it thinks the center is. But it really isn't there. It's guessing because there is no center. So at some point in the next 24 to 48 hours, there's going to be a center that's going to form, maybe sooner. And once there is, you will see a track that will be a little more honed in on where they think it's going to go. Now, I'm going to go one step further. The Hurricane Center right now is flat out saying this is a low confidence forecast for a number of reasons. Look at it like this, and I use this description a lot. Think of this center that pops up as a whack-a-mole game. You guys are familiar with whack-a-mole games, right? At the carnival, you have the little hammer, you're hitting I'm using my left hand because I hurt my right hand hitting this buzzer too hard a few days ago. It's a true story. And what a sad commentary on me in general, that I actually hurt my hand bashing the ban button. Ridiculous. Anyway, point is, that center can move all sorts of places. So the models are trying to catch up to where it is, but until it's actually there, it's a real challenge trying to come up with the forecast. So when you look at this updated track, or this track, this is based on a blend of the models. What does that really mean? They kind of take all the models and average them out, and that's where they come up with that track. Not the most accurate way to do it, but it's all we have until we have the center. So when you look, and I'm going to take this full, when you look at this potential track, the margin of error goes all the way up to Cancun and all the way down to San Salvador on the west side. So that's a very big area. Now, it's important because if this track were to be more to the north, like up here, right? If this track were to go this right side, then all of a sudden you are over Central America and Mexico significantly less. So there would be less weakening of this system. If, however, this track goes as the Hurricane Center currently has it, as more of a blend, it would stay much longer over Central America and would weaken possibly to the point of no return. I mean, that is a possibility. And by the way, we're going to talk about the Euro AI in a couple of minutes because that's what the Euro AI is forecasting. And not only that, that's what the Euro AI has been forecasting for 2 days. And oh, by the way, the Euro AI this year has been the most accurate model in the tropics. So that is a good thing. So, but the point is, once we get a center, our hope is that it takes the track way more to the south, which would keep it over land longer and significantly weaken. But I will tell you, regardless of where this goes, and this is a bold statement, to quote True Grit, that's bold talk for a one-eyed fat man. Don't ask me how I know that quote. Actually, I do know how. A buddy of mine used to say it all the time, who was a big John Wayne fan. But, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. I'm going to make a bold statement that no matter where this crosses Central America, it's going to hit Florida. All right? So let's just throw that out there. Now, whether I'm right or wrong, we'll find out. But no matter where it crosses, whatever's left of it is going to hit Florida. So let's talk about the models now, okay? We're going to jump in, and we're going to discuss the changes in models. And I'm going to go back on the camera on this one because it's important. So the 12Z GFS comes out and buries this system in Central America, and it hardly makes it out of Central America. And I posted on Facebook, wait for the next run because it will be different. And it is vastly different. So when we post individual runs, you are asking for trouble. Because individual runs this far out without a center of circulation is going to be wrong 99% of the time. It's why we show the ensembles. The ensembles are the lots of the squiggly lines because it takes the same model and varies it a little bit with the variabilities and gives you kind of a broad spread of where we think it's going to be in. It's just a more accurate way this early on. Once we get closer, sure, we can start using more operational and deterministic runs. But we don't have a center yet. So it's a complete fallacy. It's a complete waste of time to start throwing out operational runs when they're not going to be right the overwhelming majority of the time. So let's look, and I'm going to show you my proof and point on this. Let's go ahead and look at the 12Z GFS. Here it is. All right? This is Friday. There's your tropical storm. You see it right in the middle. This is Saturday. Okay? This is Sunday. It's starting to interact with land. It's going into Central America. There's Monday. And it's practically gone. It barely makes it out into the Bay of Campeche as a 1004, maybe depression, maybe even a remnant low. It does try to get redeveloped a little bit, though, and it ends up becoming absorbed by the cold front that I've been talking about. See that front coming in? It's kind of absorbed by it. Can you kind of see that? There's your low right there, right? See your low. There's your front. And it just kind of gets absorbed by that front and continues to come right through. And by the way, there is your 540 line, friends. That 540 blue line, that is the freezing line. That is the rain snow line. That's how cold we're talking about. With a freeze in the panhandle, potentially, at least in Georgia, and highs in the 60s and low 70s for us. But that is the 12Z GFS. Now look at the 18Z GFS. Okay? Looking at it, it lingers longer. That's some bad data. It goes over. It's still about 1,004, but look where it goes. It goes to Cedar Key. It goes to just north of the Bay Area. Still, though, it's at 1,001, so that's a tropical storm. That's a mid-sized tropical storm. You can argue that might be reminiscent of Eta, which had some real flooding issues a few years ago, and it was the week of Thanksgiving. Remember that? So, but look at the difference. Look at where the 18Z run takes it, like Cedar Key, versus the 12Z run, which takes it to Naples or South Florida. So this, and look at the 540 line again. Look at that 540 line, look how cold. So my point is, models from run to run are going to do this, especially when there's no center. Now, let's look at the Euro AI. What has been the most accurate model so far this hurricane season? There's Thursday, there's Friday, there's Saturday, very slow, there's Sunday, there's Monday, and it really doesn't even make it out. There's your front. See the front right there? There's your front. It's over Texas. See that? Whatever low is there, it's kind of absorbed as a nothing burger. Nothing. There's going to be some rain from the front in the panhandle, but look at the location. That's the panhandle. By the time it gets here, we get a little bit of rain on Wednesday. There's the day again. There's your 540 line. It moves through, and the cold air comes in. Now, for the folks who aren't familiar with what the Euro AI is, it's a concept that I really agree in principle with a lot of it. I'm a guy who believes in analogs. I'm a guy who believes that history repeats itself. And if you look at a way that a certain system was created in the past, if the ingredients are similar, then you might expect similar results. Maybe not identical, but similar. And what that has done is taken the last 85 years of data, they've taken it, popped it into a supercomputer, and they look at the current state of the atmosphere, and they compare it to what this other, they find the closest match to what that is over the last 85 years, and that's how they put the forecast together. It's all a computer, it's AI, right? So that is how the AI is presented, and that brings a minimal impacting system to the state of Florida next Wednesday. Again, now let's go back and look at the regular Euro, the deterministic. Now, I already told you I'm not big on individual model runs because there is no center yet, but the Euro itself is far more aggressive. This is Friday, this is Saturday, this is Sunday, this is Monday, crossing the Yucatan, this is Tuesday. The front comes in, there comes the front over Texas and Louisiana, and it starts to accelerate. It starts to be absorbed by the front, and it's kind of a hybrid system that makes landfall probably around Hernando County as a, I don't know, 998, 996 tropical storm or minimal hurricane. The Euro is far more aggressive than the Euro AI is, and it's a completely different model, even though they both say Euro. And then look at your 540 line, digging all the way down into Mexico. So there are the big three, if you will, the GFS, the Euro, and the Euro AI. Yes, there are other models. There's the Canadian, there's the German model, the Icon. There's lots of other models. And when we look at the spaghetti models, and I will call this up for you as well. I'll call this up on this. I'll show you the latest spaghetti models right here. So there's the latest spaghetti models. And, you see where it is right now. They cross the Yucatan, and the key to this is, look, the stronger ones will stay over land less. The weaker ones will stay over land more. But the general track is Florida. So I'll repeat, this thing is going to Florida. And that's what we have. All right, so someone wants to know what the worst case scenario is. I don't like to talk worst case scenarios because they rarely happen, but sometimes they do. Worst case scenario, I would say, is probably this is a Cat 2, Cat 3 hurricane hitting Florida. And my guess is it would probably be the stronger the storm, the more south it would be, because it would take less time to get there. Right? Think about that. So if you have a track, because that water is getting pretty cool and there's going to be a lot of shear, that front is going to create a lot of shear. So if you have a track that goes like this, that's less of a track than one that goes all the way like this. So the longer it's over the water, the colder it's going to get, the weaker. The colder the water is, the more shear from that coming up front, it's going to weaken. But this short track right here means it would stay intense longer, and it would also be over land significantly less, so it wouldn't weaken as much. So in my opinion, a track that's farther south would be more of a stronger track, and one that would be more towards South Florida. Okay? So thank you, Rachel. Very kind. Oh boy, are we getting spam? I can't see the spam. I'm sure it's out there. Oh boy, I keep saying Olivia Harris. Olivia Harris is doing spam. I'm looking, I'm scrolling up. I can't scroll too much because there's so many people in here and so many comments that they disappear for me, and they're disappearing. So I do not see it. So if it shows up again, I will. But yeah, I don't see it right now. But Olivia Harris, go ahead and try it. Go ahead and do one more spam. Go ahead. Just go ahead. I'm looking for you. Now I'm looking for you. Oh, there it is. No. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Yep. Bridget tagged. Wait. Olivia Harris. Block. Banned for life. There you go. See you, Olivia Harris. You're banned for life. We will not do spamming on this. We will not do spamming. Okay. So anyway, all right. So that's about it, guys. I mean, at this point, what are we waiting for? We're waiting to see where the center of circulation is, right? Okay. Once we see the center of circulation, the models can hone in on a more accurate forecast. The key to all of this, if we've already said that this will hit Wednesday, wherever it hits, right? And whatever it is when it hits, this will be Wednesday. So what we're waiting for is to see where it crosses the Yucatan. That is the biggest thing. Where it crosses the Yucatan. If it's closer to Cancun, it won't be over there as long. It would probably stay stronger. If it crosses farther south toward Belize, there's a lot more land in the way, and it would more than likely be significantly weaker. And I'll repeat, the best model this hurricane season has been the Euro AI. And the Euro AI, I'll show it to you again because it's worth showing. The Euro AI is the one that brings it across the Yucatan, weakens it significantly, and eventually just kills it where it is absorbed in the cold front that's coming in and brings some decent rain into the panhandle, but that's about it. It will not go on the East Coast, Michael. It could cross, but it will not. I do not believe there will be much left unless we say the East Coast is Miami and it takes the southern track. If it were a stronger south track, then yes, it could hit the southeastern part. But for areas in the middle, I just don't see it being a big deal. All right? So there it is, guys. Streamers, thanks for watching. And Facebook folks, I'll stay for another minute or two to answer a few more questions. But we'll be back tomorrow night. That's the way I see it. You know me, I'll be updating 24/7 as conditions change. Have a great night. Okay, so the streamers are gone. All right. And I will answer some questions now. And I will answer even that I think Disney will stay open. So how about that? I'm going out on the limb that yes, Disney will stay open. Yes, you can walk your pet ferret on Wednesday. Cruises will be impacted in the sense that I think tracks could be changed a little bit, but I do not believe any cruises will be canceled because I don't believe the ports will be canceled unless, again, this takes the southern track, is a much stronger storm, and could impact Miami or Fort Lauderdale. That is not the forecast now, but it is not impossible for that to happen. Okay? But we do not talk politics. Yep, if there's somebody talking politics, that is a ban as well. There's some things that I don't tolerate, and I like people to get along. And when they're talking politics, they ain't gonna be getting along. We just know that. That is just the way it is. So you have been warned. I guess that is about it. Okay, I have not started redecorating yet. So I did put it on pause because of the potential for the storm. And I don't want to be chasing Frosty down the street as the 12-foot Frosty's rolling, because I've had to do it before. And it's not fun. It'd be a great video, but it's not fun. So I held off on decorating until I get a better idea. Because honestly, I think this track will probably change again another 6 times in the next 3 or 4 days. I just think it will. It's still going to be Florida every one of those days. But will it be Cedar Key? Will it be Naples? Will it be Tampa? Will it be the Panhandle? You know, at that point, I do think there's going to be a lot of changes. Okay? All right, guys. Well, I think that is about it. We'll be back again tomorrow night. And, okay, what about flights? Flights I can't answer yet. But I will tell you, based on today's track, there will be no cancellations in flights. I'll go that far. If today's track verifies, we're going to have nothing to worry about. I'm just not sold that this track today is going to stay. It is going to slow down. It's going to linger for a while. But it still boils down to how long it stays over the Yucatan. It's that simple. All right? So that's it, guys. Have a great night. I will be back tomorrow, and as always, I will be updating 24/7, new spaghetti models, new computer runs, whatever. That's what I do. Look, let's be honest. From June until October or November is when I'm doing most of my work. From December until June, usually we don't get a lot of weather in the Bay Area, so I figure I can work my butt off, you know, on those six months, because the other 6 months, it's usually a lot easier. I mean, you guys know what the weather's going to be like most of those days. So have a great night, and we will see you tomorrow night on our next edition of Dennis Phillips Live. See you guys.